Hey, folks, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the BAMF podcast. I'm your host, Mike Lafferty. And let me give it 1 second. We have to play our contractually mandated opening tune. 1 second. And that assures you, gentle viewer, gentle listener, high quality, high production values podcast. As you can tell by the meticulous recreation of the original Enterprise bridge you see behind me.
It's high definition.
High definition. The finest, ethically sourced, gluten-free, farm-to-table geeky conversation for your podcast listening pleasure.
That's how it happens.
That's how it happens. And that is the dulcet tone of Mr. Walt Rebillard joining us
Yo.
tonight. Good to see you again, Walt. It's been a while. You've been busy in the word mines.
Oh, my God. So many words, so little time.
And Marvin Wynn is joining us again. He's been here before. He is a comics book creator. He is doing the Edge comic. You can find it at theedgecomic.com or linktree/The Edge Comic. You can check it out. Marvin, good to have you back. It's been a couple years. How you been doing, sir?
Oh yeah, it's been a long time since I've been on here talking to you guys and shooting the breeze. So I mean, got a lot of stuff coming up to end the year. A lot of stuff coming up for 2024. So I wanted to jump on here and share that stuff with you.
Okay. Well, I'm going to pull up your webpage and share some of this amazing art because, oh my God, look at this, my people. This is Marvin can draw. Good God, look at this.
Well, all the credit for the art goes to Mark V. So I will not take credit for the artwork.
Understood. Sorry about that. But hey, let's pretend that we have a viewer or listener who is not familiar with the Edge for whatever reason. What is the elevator pitch you give to folks, when you talk to them at the cons or at a comic shop and, to give them the quick 411 on your comic?
Right. So, I mean, the quick pitch I use at conventions is the Edge is a drug that can grant you special superhuman abilities, but the price you pay is your life or your sanity. So you're either going to burn out and die or burn out and go insane.
So it's kind of like juicing.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Or high school.
Yeah, right.
Or high school. So it's
any manner of drugs that are bad for you.
Yeah, drugs are bad. Okay, so let's talk about that. If it's going to take your life, how long do you have, and do you know?
It's different for each person, and only one of the characters is aware that they've been dosed. So the other characters aren't unaware. So they're pretty much using these abilities and powers with reckless abandon, even though they have no control of them. So to me, these powers are uncontrollable at times. So sometimes the powers will turn off. They'll do things that they're not thinking they're going to do. So it's not a muscle memory. It's not something you can remember how it works all the time. So that creates another element of problems for the characters.
Okay. All right. So powers are unpredictable.
Yes.
And they aren't aware that they're on a timer.
Correct.
They've only got so much usage before they're going to go crazy or just die. So
yeah, just complete burnout.
Okay. And this lovely piece of art, this is a cover for issue 5, right?
Yes, that is our issue 5 starts off our new story arc. That's what's in previews right now. That comes out in February. It's called Reign of Chaos. So this is the Chaos character.
Okay. And that's, once again, nice looking art. Can you tell us what's happening? Can you just give us the introduction of this new storyline?
So after our first storyline, which is the storyline called Revenant, where we meet the team, and then their nemesis is Revenant. So once we've moved past that character, this new character is Chaos. So Chaos is forming an army because he knows that eventually the normal humans are going to get tired of all these people running around with powers, and they're going to want to do something about it. So he's forming his own team to kind of get in front of that problem before it starts.
Okay, so he's sort of like the origin story for Magneto.
Very similar character.
All right, cool. Now I'm going to make a quick tiny URL. Issue 5, The Edge, because this is in Dynamite. So people can, this is in previews.
Yes.
No, I'm talking about Dynamite.
Diamond previews.
Diamond previews. So folks can order this. They can go to their local comic shop and say, hey, I want to get some of this. Or they can go to tinyurl.com/issue5 The Edge and they can order it themselves right now or pre-order it.
And if you missed the other 4 issues, check your local comic shops. If they don't have it, it is available for stores to order from the website or for you to order from the website.
Okay.
Yeah,
Something
one of
to
the
check
things
in.
I liked about the original series was the Revenant character itself. I mean, you get this, in the oh my God, the old gang! What's up, Sparks? One of the things that I really enjoyed about Revenant was the fact that even though he was a total dick, he had really, you get in those first few pages, you get the sense that he was promised a bill of goods, they didn't deliver, and they tortured the hell out of him in the process.
Right.
So he was just kind of, even though this guy is just a maniacal psychopath, he's got every right to be pissed and do what he's doing in the beginning, and you almost kind of like rooting for him. But I think the dynamic between him and Blaine are just fantastic. Those two characters that are at odds with each other. And just that first series was legit. And I remember we had a conversation. God, it had to be 5 or 6 years ago now, where we were like, I was like, "Yep, there we go." Yep, I was like, "Hey, this is the comic I found, X number, a bit ago. Is this being re-released?" And you're like, "Yeah, man, we got these new colors, we got this, we got that." And it was just, and I have both, and it's just so cool to see like this series continue to go, because I was such a huge fan back in the day, and I'm just so happy that you're out there crushing it.
Right. So I mean, it's and the one thing I will say about the Revenant character is that it kind of was organic, him becoming so popular as he did, and to my own fault of trying to make him as much of a jerk as I could, and it didn't really work. People still liked him, and I'm like, like this guy. What is it about him? Because he just like goes in and just wrecks up the place and leaves.
Mm-hmm.
And then like his power to duplicate himself. Some people told me that hey Steve, that they got a new respect for hey Herrenberg. Got a new respect for Multiple Man based on the dynamic of Revenant using his clones.
Yeah, Multiple Man, he's kind of one of those comics, if you don't have a writer who understands the powers or wants to make him shine, he can kind of be a background character forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, look at even back in the day, like look at this art. It's like that engine wake coming off that submersible is just legit.
Yeah, I love these little goldfish here.
Right, the forced perspective of the fish. I mean, this is. Now, here's a question I don't think I've ever asked you, Marvin. When you did this, and you were working with Mark, and I love Mark, man. He's quirky and a lot of fun. Did you have a tight script for him for an art script, or did you say, "Hey, this is kind of what I'm thinking, roll with it"?
So the original 4 issues were tight, very, very tight, because those were the ones that I worked on for so long, and they changed so much. So just as background, the original part of that plane coming in, it landed on the runway, and it was too plain. So when I started working on Mark, I rewrote that whole landing, and like, why don't we just have it go underwater? Why does anyone need to see this plane landing anywhere? So it's kind of like it goes halfway and then drops into the ocean and then goes through the ocean the rest of the way, so no one can see where the base is at. So it's not something you can see from the air when you're going past. It's like an island, and you don't know. It's undescript because everything's underground or under the island. So and it was those kind of things. And then as we work more together, and I just trust him empirically to do whatever he wants to do, and I just give like basic descriptions now and say just do your thing.
That's legit. Yeah, and then we got Interim right there, man. She's crazy in this first issue, like what she's able to do and stuff like that with her powers. It's just legit.
And then one of the things that I like when I talk about the characters is that each of the powers has their own built-in weakness, and maybe we'll find out that that's purposely, that someone like tainted the formula to make a weakness for the power. So with her powers, she's been opened into these portals since she was like 8 years old, and they've gotten so big and so forceful she can't close them. So it starts to affect time and areas. So where she lives, once you're walking towards her home, and it goes from noon to midnight because the time stream there is flowing so fast.
Hell yeah! No, I oh man, I dug this so hard back in the day, and this is like still like for this to be an indie collaboration, this crushes stuff Marvel and DC were doing at the time.
Well, I hope we're still crushing what they're doing.
yeah. Well, I mean, we haven't been able to, we haven't seen the what the future holds, so I'm super stoked.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, the big two have kind of lost their way for a while, so I mean.
Well, and that's why we're here, and we're hoping that they get a little bit more notice on these kind of books, and say that if you don't like your X-Men anymore, we've got an alternative book for you. Like we surely embrace the 80s and 90s realm of the X-Men.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, life's been hard for the X-Men. I had to give up a while back because I needed a scorecard to keep track of the backstory and who was alive and who wasn't. It was a lot of work for a reader. So
yeah. So I mean, but the good thing about this is that issue 1 is readily available. It's like, you think about it, like X-Men is now celebrating the 60th anniversary. That's a lot. That's a lot to keep up with over the years, and to have them referencing back to those things it just makes it a little bit more difficult.
Look at that issue. Look at that image. That is unbelievable.
So our character Randa here, she wears a visor because when her powers first activated, she had her hands in front of her face and almost blinded herself. So she can absorb and redirect energy of all kinds.
Nice.
That's legit.
But she's like a battery, so she has to continuously absorb energy, or what happens when the battery dies.
Gotcha.
So with Reign of Chaos coming up, how many issues are we looking for that to go through?
That's 9 issues.
9 issues?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's up to issue 9. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, yeah, let's do this.
So we were 1 through 5 on Revenant, so it's going to be 4 for Reign of Chaos?
1 through 4 for Revenant, 5 through 9 on Chaos, Reign of Chaos.
Okay, gotcha. Understood.
And then issue 10 picks up our next story arc, which is called God's Thunder.
Okay.
That's nice. GODS apostrophe.
Hell yeah.
It looks like you got a cover of Reign of Chaos over on your Instagram. Let me share that real fast.
Can you go into what the God story is going to be like?
So a little bit. So I give you a little bit. That's our ad that's going out to stores right now. So stores will have flyers available in the store for marketing purposes. So as I was saying before, Reign of Chaos is the start of the war, where sides are being chosen, and if you don't pick a side, you're going to be left out alone. So the next story arc deals with I'm going to try to do this without spoiling things. A character called Kyrad, and he carries a hammer that he can use to absorb waste, I'll say.
Huh.
So nuclear waste, oil, anything of that nature, he can absorb it to this hammer and make it more powerful.
That's crazy.
And the opening scene is him falling from the sky, landing, and then a hammer landing behind him and just vaporizing a bunch of people.
How's Mystic going to get him out of this one?
And if you remember back to issue 1, the terrorist organization that was holding people hostage.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's God's Thunder.
Oh man, it comes around full circle.
Yes. So they are the kind of like the guys who are aware already of the enhanced people on the planet, and they want to take them out.
That's insane.
Yeah, they're kind of they consider them to be not from this world. So
we have a question from the comments from Heroinberg asking, question about the Edge future issues. When are the one-shots happening?
So the one-shots will be happening in 2024. The first one-shot is called Rush, which is going to it's actually a story that, and people can yell at me for this. It's a story that takes place between issue 4 and 5, but it's going to come out after issue 5. So there is a untainted vial of the Edge on the open market, and criminal elements are going to descend into the city of Pittsburgh to bid on it.
Oh, so that's awesome.
This is going to give us 2 opportunities. So we're going to do a crossover with characters from Heroinberg. And if you're not familiar with Heroinberg, it's a live action video series set in the city of Pittsburgh, all female superheroes. And there's a comic also attached to that.
No kidding.
Yes. So you can check heroinberg.com. I'll put the address in the chat. But as we move forward, we're going to team up with a local wrestler called Yenza. So he's the Pittsburgh Luchador.
That's legit.
So his character will be part of the story in Rush.
Does Chris know about this Luchador, Mike?
If he does, I'm sure he'd be talking about it right now.
So he wrestles for the Keystone Wrestling Federation here in Pittsburgh.
Okay. So it's a smaller operation. So that's cool.
Yes. So it's going to be kind of like elements in the city, police, and other elements are going to try to form a team to kind of get in the way of what's getting ready to happen when all these criminals come into the city. So this will give a chance for us to bring Blaine back to his hometown.
Oh, nice.
To run into his uncle, who's a local mafia guy. So we'll get a little bit of background on the Blaine character, because I don't know if you remember me telling me before. I don't tell origins until it has to be part of the story.
Yeah, that's fair, because origin stories it gets to be kind of a trope, right? You expect that, in the first third of every issue.
I feel like that when you do an origin, you have to put the brakes on the story.
Yeah.
So in this stead, it's like if in issue 2 we give a little bit background into Bolt's origin, but then it leads right into the present day story.
Right on. Do people hit you up and ask hey, what can you tell me about so and so because he's my favorite, or do people say they have favorites all the time, like other than Revenant, obviously?
Yeah, we got some Mystics and some Blaines and some Interim. I think that as we progress a lot further in the story, people are going to start to like Bolt a little bit more because he starts turning into a jerk. Because we do something really nasty to him in issue 5. We kind of rob him of his abilities and then dare him to get him back.
Ooh.
So once you've got a taste of this stuff, it's really hard to not want it anymore. And you take his powers away from him, and you're like, okay, what are you going to do to get him back? And the things that he's going to do aren't going to be very good for himself or the team.
I gotta tell you, when I saw this image from the Bleeding Fool article,
mm-hmm.
I almost wet myself. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, this is from the Kickstarter. So issue 4, this is the Revenant Wins cover.
Yep. And I like he's got what was the name of his knife, Mr.
Idiom.
Mr. Idiom. Yep. He's got that right behind his head. That's legit. Blaine's pistols. He's got mystic swords. He's got the gauntlets and the face mask. Yeah, that's legit, man. But I got to tell you, man, I saw that. I was like, oh crap! I think I got my graphic novel behind me right here, but it's out of reach. I can't grab it. I love that Kickstarter. You guys ran a really good campaign. A lot of fun. A lot of good tiers and stuff like that. So well done to that, man.
Thank you. It was one of the most stressful experiences I probably had.
I know your pain.
Yeah. I clicked the start button on it, and I just left the house.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, actually. So I'm still fulfilling one from a couple months ago. So yeah, it's like having a roommate, kind of an intense, annoying roommate.
Yeah.
So,
I considered it like having another job, like another
Yeah.
full-time job.
yeah, it definitely can sprawl to that, as Walt can attest to, because I think you're still working on a couple for Galaxy's Edge and Wargate books, right? Walt?
Yep. I got let's see, I got one more main book conversion to go, and then the smaller ones. But those are in various like stages of finish.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, but yeah, Marvin ran a really fun Kickstarter. Very key on the details. Not a lot of bloat. Like you weren't getting messages every 30 seconds and stuff like that. But you had that info that you needed to make up for those good tiers and get some solid merchandise. So bravo, bro. That was legit.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Smart.
We were talking about the one shot. So the second one shot is a Revenant. Well, it's not a one shot; it's a one cut because he uses a knife. And this one is going to dive backwards into his story. The problem is that Revenant's telling the story.
Oh, that's legit.
So
unreliable narrator.
Yeah. So not even that, is that his mind is so fractured that the story isn't not told linear.
Understood.
It jumps around a lot, and we have there's one scene that I wrote that I really like where he's actually telling the story to his knife, and one of the other clones is there, and he looks at him, he says, "What are you talking about, man? That didn't happen. I was there. I can tell you what happened," and then the clone starts telling the story.
That's the problem with clones. They can disagree with you, and then you're fighting with yourself.
I think one of the best images that sums up Revenant is right there.
Yes.
I mean, that's that's insane. he's just an absolute murder hobo.
doesn't care about, like, he's like, there's another one where he's like, we go back to his special forces days when he's working with the U.S. government, and he decides that he doesn't want to do what they want him to do, so he just kills his whole squad.
Oof. And I think we got a picture of the Luchador, Mike, as well.
Luchador. There's the Luchador. All right.
That's Yenza.
Nice.
We've got the Comicsburg shirt over in the background there.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Nope, can't enhance it. Maybe I can. Oh, nope. It's just gonna laugh at me. But yeah, I mean, if you get a chance, check out their Instagram, because they have some gorgeous art on this Instagram. Just seriously good stuff.
I try to share as much as I can, and I sometimes will be a spoiler guy, and I will spoil things without anybody have to ask. Like, I would do it like, yeah, it's that month, let's spoil something. So I would post something up and say, hey, this is coming soon, so get ready for this.
Yeah, like for example, we have this great image of Ryle right here. I mean, I love his line work.
Yeah, that is some nice line work.
So Ryle is our kind of unfortunate assassin character, where he can't seem to get the job done in some cases. So we have a part in the Rush storyline where he's lowering his sniper rifle on the Blaine, and Blaine knows he's there, and then a pigeon lands on the front of the gun, so it's blocking the scope. He waves the pigeon away, reacquires his shot, and Blaine is just looking at him, pointing at him.
Hell yeah. I mean, and that's the great thing that I think you've done throughout the years too, is that you've had such good connections with the fans. You're really forthcoming, and easy to be like, hey, you know, this is what we have coming here. Check out this preview. Check out this. Check out that. And then, you know, you're constantly reaching out to your fans and like interacting and stuff like that. So that's just legit, man. That's fantastic.
Right. I mean, we appreciate anybody who contacts us or is willing to spend their hard-earned money to buy something that we created. I mean,
Right.
every book. I mean, I encourage anyone because like our contact information is right there in the book. I mean, I'm not hiding from anybody. So if you have any comments, suggestions, or anything you want to talk about, feel free to get in contact because I mean, I'm always ready to talk some comics or games or anything else.
Let's say you're making chili Sunday night and you're not quite sure if it's spicy enough. Give Marvin a call. It's got some advice.
Get it on that. It's got to be on that Schofield level, right?
That's cool.
Right.
Making some street tacos. You're not sure how to make them completely authentic or next level. Talk to Marvin. He's your guy.
I was just making some chicken soup. Like I had a chicken carcass left over from rotisserie chicken. Throw it into a pot with some bouillon and boil it up, and then you make some chicken soup.
I see. I was just joking, but Marvin actually will help you with cooking tips.
I got recipes.
So hit them up. So Marvin, you've reached a level of success a lot of indie guys don't get to. Do you have any advice for indie comics guys maybe out there thinking about launching their own books or
the
landmines to avoid?
Well, the one piece of advice that I will always give anybody is don't quit. Don't give up. Don't give up. If you get knocked down, get up. I mean, because that's all what it's about. It's not how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get up. And I will tell you and be honest with everybody that the first script that I wrote was straight hot garbage. It was terrible, very terrible. I had no idea what I was doing. And I took all my cues from 90s comics. So your Wildcats, your X-Men, your things like that. Some of that stuff wasn't the best written stuff ever. And I would say that from the first 20 scripts I wrote, probably 10% of that remained in the Edge. So not very much of it stayed around. And I can had separate characters that became one character. Characters got erased. Whole scripts got tossed in. Well, I didn't toss them in the trash. I saved everything I did in notebooks. But I told people, I said, one day I'll publish the bad stuff, and you'll see that starting from the bottom, and then you're here, right? So it's practice, 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 and no matter what Allen Iverson used to say, it's all about the practice.
We're talking about practice.
Yes. So this is a later cover. I will not say what issue this is, but if I was talking about Interim's portals, and what they can do is they're step portals. So she can see ahead a little bit in time, but she can also use it for transportation. But the one thing I always say is that doors open from both sides. So you have to be careful when the door is open because you don't know who's coming through it.
Fair enough. Well, hey, we've been talking about it for about half an hour. Just wanted to wrap things up. Any closing thoughts before we call it a show?
Oh no, you asked about what things to avoid if you want to be an indie creator. People telling you no. That's the one thing you want to avoid. I want to say surround yourself with people who want to tell you yes, even if you're doing something wrong. Telling you yes, that I'll look at it. Yes, I'll try to read it. Yes, I'll give you feedback. Someone tells you no, don't even worry about it. Just keep moving.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Look for people who are going to be positive and give you some feedback, because being creative is hard.
Yes.
And it's even harder when you're doing it all alone. So having a community who can bounce your ideas off of, I think that'll be valuable.
That's always the key. Is the community.
Yeah. So real quick, let me just share this. This is once again from his Instagram. You got a QR code on there as well.
Yeah, that is the ad for the Edge issue 5. That is scheduled to be in stores in February. That is in previews right now, and I think final order cutoff is Monday.
Right on.
So that's real soon because today's Thursday. So this is your chance, folks. Get on the stick. We got the links in the show notes. We got the links in the banners below. So support Marvin. It's a fun comic. It's an amazing looking comic, and jump on the bandwagon. So, Walt, any last minute questions before we hit the button?
This is one of my favorite indie comics.
Thank you.
And in saying that, it's also one of my favorite comics of the last 10 years. You know, because at a time when Marvel was pandering to one crowd or another, DC was all confused about what it wanted to do. Marvin was in the trenches in the indie scene, just crushing it. You know, one issue at a time, sometimes one panel at a time. So, like, if you're really down to support a great story from a great creator, this is your jam.
Appreciate the kind word. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And any final words, Marvin, before we wrap it up?
No, I mean, just get out there and buy some comics. The last thing we want to see is more of these comic stores closing. So support your local LCS.
Yeah, that's a good reminder. I need to get off of Comixology and get down to the local game. Comic shop.
And also, when you're down there, make sure you get the Edge. And if they don't have it, yell at them.
Yeah. You know, Comixology is going away. It's all Kindle now.
It's all Amazon now.
Yeah, it's all. Yeah, I think it's gone. I think it is gone.
Yeah, I think in October, November.
Yep.
Steve Hanner says, "Be safe in the Big Apple." I didn't know you're a New York City guy.
Not me. Harrenberg is going to Big Apple Con this weekend.
Oh, they were talking about this right here. Okay.
They'll have Edge and other Comicsburg titles up in New York.
All right, cool. That should be a good time. Well, hey, folks, thanks for checking out the BAMF podcast. Please check out Marvin Wynn. You can find him at The Edge Comic on various social media, including Instagram. Good stuff. Order this comic. It's coming out super soon. Walt, good to see you again, sir. It's been too long.
I appreciate the invite. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Marvin, always good having you back. Let's not wait so long next time.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And we will catch you all next time on the BAMF podcast.